I titled this Falling in Love with You because you are so lovable. You are so dreamy. You are such a good friend. People care about you so much, and you just sit there and do nothing but give yourself a hard time. Am I wrong? This is partly coming out of, I had a really rough day a couple of days ago. I just could not get out of the doldrums. Partly some circumstances in my life that were happening, partly, do you realize that Connecticut has had 3 days of sunshine in all of January? This little California girl's like, seasonal affective disorder is real, help me, right? So I was just having a really tough time the other day. And then I had a friend remind me of what was lovable about me, including the fact that I get depressed and I'm super sensitive. And that meant so much to me. And I thought, you know what? If I could use that, I bet everybody else could too. So you tell me, what is it you think is unlovable about you? What is the thing that you're like, I'd rather keep that hidden. I don't really love that about myself. I got criticized for that when I was a kid. I feel shy about the fact that I'm this way or that way. I don't love telling people that I live with depression and anxiety. It's not my favorite thing about myself. I'm certainly more open about it now than I ever used to be, partly because I realize that it actually helps other people when I say it out loud. Okay, if she can own it, maybe I can own it. It's not a crime. You didn't do anything wrong. You just live with a thing. Like, the same way people live with diabetes or I have a crooked little finger. It's a thing. My size. Yeah, I think a lot of us are hard on ourselves about our body shape and size. What else do you think is unlovable about you? Do you piss people off because you're too smart? Are you impatient? Do you have a sarcastic sense of humor that sometimes hurts people's feelings? Are you super shy? I can be incredibly shy, which I know nobody believes because I'm nearly 6 feet tall and I act like I know what I'm doing all the time. But honestly, sometimes I walk into rooms and I can't function. So, and I understand if you don't want to say here in the comments, I totally get that, but write it down for yourself. Just one thing that pops to mind when I think, what could be unlovable about you? Or what have you been told is unlovable about you? What did you get criticized for as a kid? Oh, you're too dreamy. You're too talkative. You're too bossy. Shirley says, bossy know-it-all. How did you know? Just a good guess. Yikes on the sarcasm, on the shyness. Yeah, too sensitive. Right, exactly. Now I want to ask you, who is a famous person who shares this quality with you? Living or dead? And they only need to be famous to you. I'm going to go with David Letterman. Shyness, certainly Emily Dickinson. Laurie Metcalf, one of my favorite actors of the century, is an incredibly shy person. So who's sort of a famous person that shares this unlovable quality of yours? Even a fictional character that has this thing that you think makes you unlovable. I have another question for you. When has this quality of yours been kind of useful? When has it served you to be shy? When has it served you to have a quick tongue? When has it served you to be a little harder on yourself maybe than other people would be? Have you been able to talk yourself in and out of things? Have you been able to talk other people in and out of things? Have you made friends really easily because you can talk way too much to anybody? Has your shyness made you a good noticer? Maybe you notice things that other people don't because you tend to sort of stand back and to the side a little bit. Has living with depression and anxiety made me more aware of emotionality and my own emotionality? Has it made me more sensitive to other people? The fact that other people may be carrying a heavy burden that they may not be talking about? Yeah. Is that useful? Yeah. Has being able to name it maybe help make it okay for people even useful? Yeah. Julie says, my sensitivity makes me a superlative healer and intuitive. Exactly. Part of the way that I learned to deal with living with depression and anxiety when I was a little girl was by writing poetry. I started writing poetry when I was 4. And I just sent out a poem to my list and I got like so many emails, this avalanche of emails back of people saying, thank you for saying that. I feel that. Did you write that especially for me? Oh my gosh. No, I wrote it especially for me. I wrote it because of the darkness that I was experiencing. But it turns out on January 31st in the bulk of the northern United States and maybe everywhere else too, darkness is a thing. Being willing to acknowledge my depression and anxiety, the source of hyperemotionality that causes, my lifelong practice of analyzing my own feelings over and over and over again ad nauseum to the point where everybody gets annoyed with me, especially me. But it leads me to the language that can make a poem about it. And when I make a poem about it and I can share it, now we can all come together. Now this perceived weakness isn't a weakness, it's a blessing. And not just for me, but for the world. So how can your weakness be a blessing? How can your weakness be something that we all treasure? How can your weakness bring you in business? Now, I want you to go ahead and minimize it for me. If you know you can be way over talkative, you're a verbal processor and everything has to be said out loud. If we were going to minimize it, you'd say, I chat. I can be a bit chatty. If I was going to minimize living with depression and anxiety, I might say, oh, occasionally I get a case of the gloomies. June H says, messy desk is a sign of creative mind. Exactly. Hair toss. What? This isn't messy. This is genius. Genius right here. Rachel says, I can be a bit selective of how I engage. I love that. I'm not for all markets. Yeah, genius. Lori says, I give my favorite clothing store good business. Yes, my body dysphoria causes me to have a fantastic wardrobe. Yay. And you could try to maximize it too. You know, what would I say for depression, anxiety? That line from Masha, right, in Three Sisters. Call my book, I'm in mourning for my life. Darby says, I speak in whispers. That's beautiful. So you guys, not surprisingly, super smart, super quick, highly sensitive, highly intuitive. I am not surprised that you all started to put this together right away. The things that you think make you unlovable actually make you the most lovable. And those things have stretch to them. They're not fixed. They're not to be hidden. So I want you to experience the stretch and the flow. The other thing I wanted to say before we leave is that if you are interested in working with me, the doors to the Get It Done Lab close Saturday. Go ahead and check out therealsambennett.com/lab. You can still join in, and it's remarkable. It's a remarkable process. People have seen incredible results just in 2 weeks. It's about visibility. It's about getting that which is lovable about you out into the world. It's about having you feel more comfortable getting yourself out there, just like this little exercise did. See what I'm doing there? If this is ringing your bells, I want you to come in. And if you want to have a conversation with me about it, just ping me and say, hey, Sam, I'd love to chat. We'll chat. It's not a hard sell thing. If you're not right for the program, I don't want you in it. John says, a word from the darkness. It felt like you were speaking directly to me. It was beautiful and timely. Getting our message courageously out there. Yes, that's what the lab is all about. Getting your message courageously out there. And remember, courage is strength of the heart. It's not physical strength. It's courage. It's a French word. So hop on over to therealsambennett.com/lab. There's a free training all the way down at the bottom that's really inspiring and fun. So if nothing else, you should go check out that video. Thank you so much for being here. Please tell your friends. Join my mailing list. What else do I have to say? Rachel says, thank you. Thank you, darling. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for making the time. I think you're amazing. I'm totally in love with you. I'm totally in love with you. Bye, everybody.